What's up, guys? Today is a very special video. This is Kraken build number 200. We've done an all-white build. All white with the exception of a touch of silver. So if you have followed me for a while and gone through the progression of the Kraken builds, originally my Kraken dials looked like this. Lots of detail, indicator markers in between. You've got markings on the tentacles. So this was the original Kraken dial, because I worked with a guy who had made a couple of them, who had them on Etsy for a couple years and nobody ever bought them. So I bought those from him, and those were literally one of my first ever custom dials. And I was like, dude, I love these dials. The people love these dials. And he's like, really? I've had these up for 2 years and nobody's even shown interest. So I had him start making me dials. But these were all handmade dials, and they took multiple months to get even 10. It was like a 12-stage process. I know he used magazines and like decoupage, and it was a process. Well, I had him make me several, and the bulk of them were those black and the charcoal ones that are long since gone. But he did make me a couple just one-off dials, like, hey, in case you like these. And I didn't ask for the colors, but one of them was white. He's made me a red one, and he's also made me a green one. Those are the last two that I actually have from him. But he ended up moving away, and his new shop, his new house didn't have an area for a shop. So he's like, I don't know when I'll ever make dials again, just an FYI. So I've held on to him for a long time, and I thought this would be a perfect time to use one of those last three dials and do the all-white build. So we've got a 170 case that's been bead blasted and quadruple cerakoted. We did this in white. So white is so hard to work with because it becomes like transparent, translucent. You can kind of see through it into the silver. So we had the multiple coat the case, the crown, the caseback, the engineered band, and the clasp. Went back through, laser engraved the crown, the caseback, the clasp on it. And then I have, way back, probably 3 years ago, every once in a while you see, oh wait, my very first build I ever did, it had one of these bezels on it, and I really liked it. It's a ceramic sloped insert on like a little knurled silver bezel. And whenever I got this dial, I found one of these bezels and I sat it with it, and it's been with it for probably a year and a half or 2 years. Probably more closer to a year and a half, because this was like one of the last dials I got from the guy. Just ready to go on to a build. I didn't know what I was going to do or when I was going to do it, but I knew the dial was special, and I thought, well, I might just make it for myself at some point. But as we're getting closer and we got to 200, I thought, hey, this is it right here. So did a set of silver paddle hands in there. This has the BG3 loom that he does on them. So he did the eyes for me and all around. That ceramic bezel I told you about. Now it's tough to move this thing because it's on quadruple cerakote. So it should not move on you unless you really want it to move. Stainless steel movement holder in there, a signed rotor of mine under this, if you actually get down in there. As with all builds, automatic mechanical, so you can wind it, wear it, put it in a watch winder. But if it's dead, you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it just a little bit. And how you do that is you back the crown off the threads and so you hear it and feel it clicking. At that point you can wind, and a wind is a turn this way. Turning it back towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and just go back and forth. I built this, when was this? Thursday night, and it was still keeping time. Yeah, when did I build this? Thursday at 10 p.m. I'm pretty sure that's the proper time right now. So that would have been 36 hours ago. Normally it's a 31-hour power reserve. So that's not terrible, right? So you wind it. If you do it back and forth for 4 or 5 seconds, even if you're not very active, that mixed with your rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. And if you do it with something closer to 15, 20 seconds, you're going to max out that 31 plus hour power reserve, which I just established is we're closer to like 36 hours right now. Because it's Saturday morning. It's Saturday. I think it's about this time. Okay, Google, what time is it? 10:40. 10:47. Look, it's kept perfect time for, I want to say 36 hours. I'll have to go back through and look and see when my first picture was taken of it. But I did it Thursday night. And I built 3 watches that night. And it was the first of the 3. So it might have been closer to 8 o'clock. But that's not terrible, right? What do they say? 10:47, so it's about 10:48. When you're good, push. Also, you'll notice you've got a wobble crown. That deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement. So when you're pushing and prying on it, you are not putting any adverse pressure on that movement. And if you notice, that right there is almost completely healed. But this was from that bead blasted Hote. I thought it was Ghost Violet Cerakote, but it was Hote over bead blasted case that West 9 build like 2 or 3 builds ago. The crown, I was trying to do a matching crown, but something was wrong with like the threads or something inside the actual inside the crown itself, because all the other crowns worked just fine, but it got like stuck on there, and I don't want to use pliers or anything like that, because I could slip and hit something, or really destroy the Cerakote if you whack into it. So I just grabbed it by hand and like turned as hard as I could, and it's tender as it is through here from always whining and going back and forth, and whenever I'm building watches getting them set, because sometimes you got to kind of fight through some stuff on here if there's Cerakote on the threads and stuff. Man, it just destroyed me. But that is the build. I thought it came out pretty awesome. And if it's going to you, congrats. As with every build, you're going to get matching beads. And we've not only did the wife get the beads to match, but she's got some cool loom in them too. So what's interesting is they kind of look like they're blue, but they loom green. So just to show you how this looks. Got that. And then, like I said, looks like it's going to be blue, right? And I was like, oh man, we did the wrong colors. But it's not, it's green. So, matching loomed beads. All this comes in a white special edition. That's like white stain. Kraken box. Comes with watch cleaners. Is good on all glass and metal parts. So this watch as a whole, non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, and some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon. It's basically like a poly watch. It's for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it, but if you do, put a tiny bit of this on it and buff it out using your included microfiber. If the scratches up and down, go left and right, filling that scratch, haze it, buff it out, and you are done. Also, I did a silver inlay in the glass all the way around, so here you can see it. But I thought it came out pretty awesome. White hands on this thing didn't look quite right. They kind of disappeared in there a little bit, because I thought, oh, I might do a white cerakoted bezel. But the problem is there's not a lot of white inserts that don't have like red triangle. Even if you find white ceramic, they usually have black numbers like this, but they always have red on them. And every once in a while you can kind of find one with a black triangle, but often they are sloped. And the problem is the aftermarket bezels for the platform that I work on are set up for flat inserts. And when you put a sloped in there, you can literally see under it and get stuff under there. And plus you're going to have like that two-sided tape under there, so stuff will attract and stick to it. So it ends up just looking kind of terrible. Plus only the outer edge is actually secured because the rest of it's sloped, so it's not actually making contact with that tape. So this bezel is made where it's on a slope with this in there. It's made together. So, because I thought of that too, I was like, oh, I could do white hands, I could do a white bezel on this and a white insert. And I was like, wait, I can't, all the white inserts have red. So well, I guess I could do a red seconds hand. I don't want a white and red watch. So, I don't know. I'm not a red guy, which is probably why you don't see too much red unless somebody asks for it. So that's the build. So you will have one of the 3 last dials from my guy Adam. Hopefully one day I will get dials from Adam again. I should probably text him and just see how he's doing and see if I can, small talk for a bit and then see if I can get some more dials from him or if that's ever going to happen again. But that's the build, number 200. Thank you guys so much for your support. This is, I think, build 950s, something like that, but Kraken build 200. So appreciate you guys a ton. Thank you so much for the support over the years. And that's it. If you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. If you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe, as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.